News. I'm Madhuri Pednekar, your host for the broadcast and a conference producer at CIO. This is a recorded session available on our website, cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. This is an exclusive fireside chat powered by Avaya on transformation through customer experience. Businesses are built by the experience they provide, and every day, millions of those experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is shaping what's next for the future of work with innovation and partnership that delivers game changing business benefits. Let's dive in and let me introduce my guest for today. So, my guest's favorite quote for the daily morning Java kick is by Arthur C. Clarke, which is any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Please welcome Mr. Subroto Panda, CIO, CTO at Anand and Anand, a premium IP and media law firm. He is a C-suite professional with proven credential and established expertise with experience in the development of technical and strategic landscape for IT services and solutions. His core operational strengths are wide and varied, spanning across 15 years of distinct portfolios relating to system development, controlling outsourced development partners, managing in-house teams spread across multiple locations, systems and database administration, network operation, project management, and service delivery support. His current role now focuses to match the operational capabilities with the global benchmark within the industry of legal professional services. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Madhuri. Good afternoon, Raghav. Good afternoon, all. I'm honored to be here and speaking to you. And It's been a long journey in this organization, being a premier law firm and working under our able managing partner, Mr. Praveen Anand, who is recognized as a person who knows in and out, who uh, eats, drinks, and sleeps with IPR. He is known in India also and in the world also as a person who has brought in a lot of innovations with respect to while fighting for the IPR rights. So also we as technologists managing the technology in this company have taken a cue from him to do something innovative. And While I speak more on the innovations as you go on and ask me, I would answer it the way we as a law firm are completely different in the sense that while using technology for our benefit, while rendering services to our customers, and the swiftness for the users, especially the lawyers who are busy, and the moment a client calls in to the moment they deliver what is expected from them, we use technology to the maximum, and we have automated a lot of process. As we go on with the interview, I will speak about them in detail.
So we also have Mr. Adarsh Kaul today with us. He's an India marketing lead at Avaya and also our moderator for today's session. He's an experienced business marketing specialist with a strong mixture of strategic, analytic, and creative experience and a proven history of working in the IT and telecom industry. Warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Madhuri. Thank you very much. As I said, Subroto, it's an honor having you across on the panel today, and let alone the Avaya part of it. Honestly speaking, on a personal note, as I said, in my career, I've actually closely with Anand, and I was always intrigued in understanding that what runs the entire machinery, which is Anand and Anand. So although what I know what you just suggested across or spoke about is probably the tip of the iceberg. But I think over my next 4, 5 thoughts at least, we'll probably try and understand that what is it that powers the entire brainchild from a tech perspective of Anand and Anand. So looking forward to a chat. But you know what? To start with this, as I said, I'd like to straight away get into what is Anand and Anand, and if you could probably give us a small landscape organization to start across for the viewers of CIO News, and of course for benefit of Avaya, also to give an understanding of what is the mammoothness of Anand and Anand. Will be really nice if you could probably give us a little synopsis before I get into my questions.
Anand and Anand is a premier IPR law firm specializing in patent, copyright, trademark, design, plant biodiversity, and a lot of legal works related to IPR. And we are known because we bring in a lot of innovativeness while we fight the cases for clients. And across, if anybody would Google around about Anand and Anand, we are known for fighting for the right holders, IPR right holders. And we have been doing quite a lot of work in the field of IPR, and all the famous cases across India would obviously bear our name. So I don't want to speak much about what we do, but people who come to us, they know much about us. And it's been 90 years, 90 plus years since Anand and Anand has come into existence. Earlier, it was the Acme company, and then when Mr. Anand, Praveen Anand took over, he created this Anand and Anand. We have got 100 plus lawyers and couple around 30 plus partners, and well, they are all unique, they are all talented in their own fields. For example, the IT, media, e-commerce we have got. And for patent, Mr. Anand is known, Archana Shankar Srivastava, who heads the patent department, Safir Anand, who heads the trademark department. They are worldwide known people. They have created a mark for themselves, not only for themselves but for the organization as a whole. And I would not, I would feel that whatever I speak about Anand and Anand is too less in comparison to the way they work and they deliver the services, due to which that customer delight is something which our clients are always happy and they always speak of. And this service being word of a mouth much more, they do spread whenever any kind of requirement comes in from their peers or colleagues or something. They do refer about our firm, and we are known, and we are known for the services which we provide.
That's exactly the point that I wanted to bring out, and you've actually nailed it up, sir. So my first question across, and Supto sir, I'd like to take this opportunity to, as I said, 90 plus years is a lifetime. A lot of us will probably not live that kind of time frame. But the fact is that thousands of customers, and I'm sure there are thousands, large multinationals, small SMBs, down to mid-sized commercials. You talk about the top 500 across in the country. I'm sure they'll be at least consulting you from one perspective or the other. How do you actually manage your customer experience, and how are you leveraging digital channels to do this? Those are key from a perspective of technology usage, and at the end of the day, that completely provides the customer delight that you spoke about. So how are you actually managing that? If you could probably give us a snapshot of that.
I will start with an example, in the sense that the way first we see that our own people are our first clients. So the people who work at the back end, how they are facilitated with the use of technology. Prior to pandemic, it was always files and codes, and everywhere the files were used. We have got a huge chunk of files. So we made sure that how can we make sure that there is a time calculator which is there, in which a person who is responsible for delivering the files to the lawyers are measurable. And once when you can measure something, you know that every day you can improve on it. We started with that small example. We started creating some kind of application, in the sense that there is a file room from where the file is collected. We made it into an application whereby a lawyer could request for a file, and it was automatically measured when the file was posted, when the file was delivered to the lawyer, because the files were tagged with a RFID, and every place where the file went through was automatically getting tagged, or the time stamping was happening. So we could know that how fast the files were delivered, thereby increasing the efficiency of the lawyer to go through the file and then get back to the customer or the clients. This is how we started our journey. And the main business happens through emails. In a law firm, the main business happens through email. So we have built in a couple of applications whereby we know exactly when and by what time a mail was reverted back. The dashboard is on to the HODs, and they know exactly, and that's the reason why we have been ranked as out of a score of 10, we have come nearly 9.5, 9.6, like that, while delivering the customer service. Because nowadays the patience level has come down and everybody expects a reply the moment they click on the send button. They expect in the next 5-10 minutes. So even if uh, it is a short reply or something, at least the client knows that people have started working on their project or their case. So this is how we started our journey in measuring how fast we can revert back to the customer. And while doing so, clients have appreciated the fact that the efficiency increased to a large extent, and which was factual. It was not something in which usually people say that, yeah, he did a job, but everything was measurable. At the same time, the people who were responsible, that got into their performance appraisal system also, because there could be a distinguishable mark on which people, a couple of people are there who deliver the files to the lawyer. So it was measurable and it was fair. The same way goes while extending the same services to our client. We know that these are the people who are responding to the client. So there are various other factors which we started creating applications through which we could measure. And
That's
what
exactly, Subroto, my next question. What you're just telling me is that you have a system in which you're actually measuring the entire file transferring between the teams to the lawyers, and the lawyers are talking to the customers, and this is a complete process which is measured across internally. What are the tools that are using across for measuring this up? That's my next question. And are you measuring this up internally, or are you measuring this up from the customer's side? So at the end of the day, as a customer of Anand and Anand, am I getting like a survey was that this kind of service was used by you, or what is the kind of time frame that the response came across to you, the timestamps, etc., are verified across, and is there tech involved out there from a measurement perspective? That's my next bet. And that's something that kind of intrigues me, because at the end of the day, when you say applications, these applications which have been used are are created, are they bespoke, or are you using a certain external template across for this? Probably, is it a branded CRM product line, or is it being created across by Subroto Panda and his team exclusively for Anand? That's my next question.
these applications are exclusively created by the IT department. We have got a couple of IT persons, and we sit across with the lawyers and try to ask them always that tell us how we can increase, how IT can give you some kind of benefit, how things can be measurable. So it is completely developed in house by our own people. It is a bespoke application, because these kind of applications are usually not found, because the work style, the workflow, everything gets different for different industry. And
Mhm.
if you see the big IT industry players like Infosys or Wipro or any other big players, they do not get into how to leverage or how to make applications for the legal fraternity. They look into for big players, and it is also quite difficult for smaller law firms to afford this kind of IT giants for their services. So we have to cater, and moreover, because it requires a continuous interaction with the users. And if any kind of technology which is brought in, and if the adoption level is negligible, then the technology fails. So when something is created to facilitate the in-house users, then that application has got a higher success rate. So when I'm telling this, we had various rounds of interaction, we created, we showcased wherever some kind of modification tweakings were required. Those were all done because we were inside the office, and we could know when the users were free to discuss with us, because the prime time is to service the clients. Then only when they have got time, we step in. So this doesn't happen if you outsource the development part to outsourcing companies, because they do have got a time bound work and timing and all those things. And usually lawyers, they prefer to work in the evening after coming back from court, or after their registry work is done, the patent registry or trademark registry gets closed, then they are a bit free to discuss. So those things are possible only when you have got an in-house team who can sit as per their free time and understand and take note of it, and when the next visit they create something which they wanted to look at.
Interesting, absolutely. Out here, Subhato, then I have a completely different, and I wanted to ask this especially to a law firm, and I'm very happy asking this question. What are you a strong believer of? Subroto Panda as well as Anand and Anand, because at the end of the day, how is the cloud migration in the technology space right now affecting your business? Are you still a on-premise, physical file system? Because I understand this thing that most of your content would probably be, paperwork, and which is digitized across. And then because of course, privacy norms, do you host it up in the cloud? Do you give it in? How's the transition across down to cloud affecting your business? Are you a strong user of cloud? And that's a independent question to Subroto Panda as well as to Anand and Anand. So, what is the kind of tech usage across out there? How do you feel across out there, and how do you think this thing that you're working across on that?
We thanks to this pandemic, due to which even if from being an IT, from an IT perspective, even if we always pleaded, or even if we always told or requested that we should get into modern technology and all those things, but the pandemic has helped to speed up this process of digital transformation. And when you are telling about cloud adoption, we have partly adopted cloud, because there are various factors, there are regulatory requirements due to which we cannot get into the cloud full-fledgedly, but we have got into because of various compliances, which is quite difficult to have it, in the sense that since we cater to international clients, uh, those compliances would be extremely costly if we do have on-premises data center. So we have gone into a hybrid model, whereby leveraging, for example, for emails, we are using O365, and on a hybrid mode, because there are a couple of mailboxes which are big in size and has to be on premises. So we have gone into a hybrid model. And not only that, we have gone for other applications also, because a lot of tools and flexibility is there while one moves into the cloud, which is not possible, because there's no point in reinventing a wheel when some kind of applications are there available, which can be integrated into our legacy applications through use of containerization. And since the cloud has brought in a lot of tools, applications which help, and it is in one way good thing that the developers, while recoding, have to recode only once, because they would make it a standard in which if there is some kind of upgrade with the cloud OEM, like for example for virtualization, Azure is there, AWS is there. So once when they migrate from on-premise to the cloud, then they have to recode only once, because it has to be a standardized code, so that whenever there is a upgrade from the service provider, it automatically upgrades, rather than having it in a silo environment where again, because they do not inform the users or the receivers of the services, telling that we will upgrade on that day. If there is a certain upgrade, the application has to work in that way. So this is added advantage, due to which we have migrated, because during the pandemic we had a problem with users having low bandwidth at their home. So it was something in which we thought of migrating those applications which do not come under the regulatory compliances, to migrate all those things, build up those things so that it is accessible. It is it doesn't take there is no lag between accessing and uh, having the analytics and all those things. And the analytics which we get is tremendous. It would have costed us quite a lot had we gone into the old style of doing all those things in house.
Interesting. So what you're saying is Subroto Panda as well as Anand, both are happy users of the cloud, and you've actually moved the technology shift clearly across from the old legacies across down to the cloud. So that's what I could probably summarize across from what you say. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Subroto, I have another question for us out here, and it is concerning your customers. So, how and what all are the digital touch points that you have created in Anand and Anand for these customers to connect with you? When I say this, what I want to check across is that do you use digital channels in the sense, is there is there a chat bot which is powering Anand and Anand right now? Is there a voice bot which is powering Anand and Anand right now? Is there a complete communication system which has been drafted out for capturing opportunities that or concerns that customers have? And how are you actually regulating it across from a perspective of business conversion? So that's my next question across to you.
We are bounded by some regulations set by Bar Council of India, which in which we cannot have a chatbot in our website. Anybody visiting our website has to accept and then get into. We do not publish much of a work on our website except the information which is required for a client to come in, because solicitation is not accepted in India. There is a restriction by Bar Council of India. So now, when people want to come in through various channels, they get a little bit of information about what we do, how we service, and all those things which are published in the website. And then, when once the interaction starts, we have got inbuilt applications in which we measure how best we can deliver. And we have, in reality or in truthfulness, have asked our clients that how satisfied they are, but we do not do those kind of survey monkey surveys or all those things. But whenever any kind of case or any kind of matter is progressing, we do get good compliments from our clients stating how happy they are, how inside their own organization also they write letters about our firm. And as I said, that when anything can be measured, so there is a scope of improvement always. So in that sense, we do not use those standard CES, which is customer effort score, or all those things which are publicly available. But we have created applications around that which are specific in nature to our service industry, legal services,
Mhm.
and taken the feedback from our partners, our senior members, who is a veteran in this, and have started accumulating and creating some kind of analytics around it, to measure how happy our customer clients are.
Interesting. That's really nice. I'd probably like to see this one because while I might have seen enough and more, but how does a law firm do this will be really interesting. So I'll probably come by and drop by sometime to check this out. But having said that, our topic for the session today is pandemic, COVID-19, and God bless us all. We should all come out of it. Having said that, especially the IT would have been burdened because I know while the courts were shut down, I'm sure the law machinery was working. How did you manage? And it was a norm. The country was shut. How did you manage work from home? What is the kind of specific actions that you took immediately to get your organization through any problems that came across with it? What are those steps, and what is it that came across, especially from your perspective? At the end of the day, you guys are a very in the face customer and courts kind of a storyline. How did that work for you, and what did you scale it up from a perspective of your organization readiness?
I would like to thank my friends across the world and having a global experience prior to joining Anand and Anand. So I could figure out and I could know how it is advancing. And if you know, it was all of a sudden declared, the lockdown was declared. There was no moment anywhere across in any industry where the time frame was given to any CIOs to get into that work from home thing. It was all of a sudden declared. And just imagine getting a laptop from a vendor, installing all the required compliance, DLPs, and all those security, and then taking during that lockdown, getting special permissions from the police and getting it shifted to the users, the lawyers, the paralegals, and giving them a a, a, a single platform so that they should not feel something is amiss or something is different. So it of course took us quite a lot of time because we had started the process around 10 days earlier because I was expecting this to happen. And even before the lockdown, I had initiated the training how, if it is getting locked down, then how they should get into. We created a seamless experience for the users. They could not know that what the shortcuts which they had created in the desktop or the applications, because everybody has got their own style of working. They Somebody uses the login screen, somebody uses keeps the password remembered and gets into that screen straight away and works. So all those mapping all those things in that similar way so that they do not experience, because adopting a new thing in legal fraternity is a little bit tougher job. And I'm being honest about it, but still then we could, and extremely they were happy. And because as I had said that Mr. Praveen Anand, who is the managing partner, he always used to get fascinated with technology, and perhaps he was the first lawyer who brought in the first laptop as a lawyer to India.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so so he was always fascinated, and he always was happy to invest on technology. And a few days back, one of I had called in a great system integrator, and when I showcased the applications which I had built, because I wanted something get into more automation by using AI. So they said that we are far ahead. It's not an exaggeration of what we have done, but it is something in which I'm viewing and having a vision that I want to decrease the manual repetitive work of anybody, be it from a paralegal to a lawyer, to be automated to that percentage, that at least 50 to 60%, if that repetitive job is done by through automation, then they have got free time to think much more.
Interesting. So you're primarily talking about RPA and the usage of that across in the paralegal system for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, how cool is that? Actually, Subroto, that kind of gets me to just one question, and it's not part of my questions, but this is something which I'm inquisitive about. Legal law, they're like a completely different world. The lawyers are a very different space. They operate in a different space. They definitely know much more than a common bloke like us. At least I would count myself. You live with lawyers, so you probably learned the nuances and the tricks of the trade. How easy is it to convince this breed of people to use technology and adapt to new technology? How has it been as a job for you to convince? Because for you, you are actually a change agent. They're used to a certain norm of working. They're used to filling in those paperwork, file systems, connecting to customers through references. How is it that you are playing the role of the change agent in the organization? And if I may, uh, how do you convince this set of people? Because they are the alpha males in any case. These guys know their business better than any of us. They consult people. How do you consult them to adapt to new technology? That's one question which is not as a part of my tech agenda, but that's a very personal question, because I wanted to understand that what is the role of the CIO and the CTO in a strong tech world, which is run by lawyers. So that's my question.
I would like to say that it's not that tough for me, in the sense that had it been in some other legal offices, then I can tell about. But since we are into IPR, and if you see all the new patents or anything happening around blockchain, AI, IoT, so our lawyers, our partners, they know much more than what I know. So because I know how to use it, but from a perspective how good it is, how it will affect the humanity, how it will affect the society, so they do much more harder work than me. So it becomes a little bit easier for me to convince them by showing or creating small applications in which they see the result. They know theoretically, and when I bring the practical into it, then they become more excited, and they try to imbibe it, and then they push it. And I believe in a principle that if it is from top down, it gets into the working system very fast. So it's a bit
Absolutely.
easier because they they work harder. I'm really surprised the way they go through so much books about AI. Mr. Anand, he has written a lot of articles on AI. He has perhaps read hundreds of books on AI, and he has advised a couple of cases also which came up recently only.
Wow, that brings me to the end. I think it's a lovely, fulfilling conversation. Thank you very much, Subroto. Honestly, a treat and a pleasure talking to you. Getting a perspective across. And as I said, I've had some very close moments working with Anand and Anand, and now I understand this thing that there's a different machinery which is running at the back end to make Anand and Anand look what it is. Thank you very much for your time. With that, Madhuri, over to you. Thanks again for doing it. Seriously.
You're welcome, others. And I would request that whenever you can, you drop down and you can have a
Oh,
real feel of the
for
applications which
sure,
you
for
have
sure,
created.
for
And you
sure.
will, obviously, being from a IT industry and you know technology, so you'd appreciate how depth we have gone in, and those unique applications which we have created is something which I don't know about the big IT industry also. But I am at least quite convinced that people would take time to reach where we have reached.
Very, very well said. Very well summarized. Madhuri, completely over to you.
Such a wonderful insight, and I think our viewers I'm sure, will love this entire session. And thank you, Mr. Panda, for your time, and thank you, Adarsh, for driving this entire session. So thank you once again.
Thank you all. Thank you,
Thank
Madhuri.
you.
Thank you, Adarshji. Thank you.